We in here with Maleek Jackson, know what I mean? So tell them a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
Yeah, my name is Maleek Jackson. I'm the top personal trainer in the city of Philadelphia. I grew up in South Philly. You know, when I was young, I got caught up in the streets. Did 10 years in jail, came home, and now I'm here. I'm out here, I'm doing what I need to do, what I'm supposed to do.
Word. So yeah, I see you got the book right there. We're gonna get a little bit to that. But let me first ask you, like, what part of South Philly you from?
I'm from something they call it the small side. Over there where South Street and stuff at. I mean, I'm actually on 18 and Catherine, 18 and Carpenter.
Word. So you say you was in the streets, know what I mean? You ended up getting booked and sentenced to 10 years when you was 16.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that, because that's kind of rare for you to get sentenced to 10 years when you're only 16 years old, especially back then. So talk a little bit about that situation, like how it was, what your mindset was, and how it was for you being a young guy upstate with grown men.
I mean, before I went in, I was always a guy that was before my time. I was doing things that other kids weren't doing when kids was out there playing. My homies, when they was playing video games and basketball, Madden 2K and all that stuff, I was out there, trying to make $1. And then when they was out there trying to make $1, I was already, advanced. I was out there taking money. So, that caught up to me. I got locked up. I was 16, thrown into, an adult situation that I wasn't ready for. And, what helped me was I had people on the inside, my family and friends that took me under. Lifers, they took my liking to me and they showed me the ropes, So, I used that to my advantage and, turned that negative into a positive.
Right. So what was it like for you, know what I mean, your mentality going through that situation for 10 years, know what I mean? That's for you growing from a young man to a grown man. Like, what was that transition like as a youth and then becoming a grown man in that situation?
It was a process. I ain't gonna lie, it was a process. It was the longest, hardest process of my life. It's hard to change when you used to act in a certain way, used to, certain habits. It's hard to change those habits, and it was no different with me, So I had, like I said, I had old heads. I had dudes that had 30 years in on a life sentence. It's never coming home and took me under their wing and told me, like, listen, yo, you in here, you wildin', you acting like you ain't never coming home. Like, you got a date. And I wasn't listening at first, until I started losing people. And I started missing my freedom. Because you kind of get lost. And a lot of people can't relate. Even dudes that been locked up, they can't relate. If you was locked up in your adult life and you never was locked up as a juvenile and going into your adult life, like the first time I ever was released to prison, the first time I ever been on the streets, I was grown. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you can't relate, you don't know what I'm talking about. So everything is like you get lost. So when I start losing my brothers and all that, this brother getting killed, my man getting killed, grandfather died, my first cousin getting killed, I start missing my freedom. It's like, yo, it's real life. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Weird.
So I had to straighten up, man. I started focusing on my goals and what I wanted to be in life, man. And, that's what I bit down on.
Weird. So everything that you doing now, was you kind of like putting this together while you was in jail? Like, when I get out, I'm gonna start, personal training, and I'm gonna do. So tell people like how you, because a lot of people in a situation like that, they feel kind of hopeless, they feel down, because you basically, institutionalize you. So how was you able to, focus and stay motivated and look forward to the day you come home to do what you're doing now?
I tell people, man, nothing that I'm doing right now is coincidental. Nothing. This ain't by accident. Like, I'm saying, and also, man, one of the greatest things that I ever been blessed with was an imagination, because my dreams became a reality years before I ever even left my jail cell, man. I used to sit down and I used to think, contemplate, and create, and vision, and this use like, that's why I'm going big when I get out. That's where I'm gonna be at. That's where I'm gonna have. This, that, and third. So the process started with my man Taj, and he was like a big brother to me. Even to this day, he a big brother to me. But back then, he was what I needed. He was like a mentor. before I even knew what mentor was, you know, and he took me under his wing, and he taught me how to develop my mind, because I was a child when I got locked up. Even though I was doing adult shit, you know, I was a kid. So he developed my mind, and that led me to, you know, figuring out what I wanted to be in life, what I wanted to become. And one of those things was a personal trainer. So I say about a good 4 years before I was released, I started training people. And I talks about it in the book. Like, this book, it's no type of storytelling. Everything is factual. Only thing that isn't factual is a few names, because I changed it. I talks about it in the book. So, what you want to do? Bang, you want to do this? Bang. I started training guys when I was locked up 4 years before I was to be released, because I had the vision. I had the vision. When I come home, this is what I want to do. Let me start now. I mean, was it hard? Yeah, of course it was hard. But I knew I had that self-belief and that ambition that, you know, if I got one shot, if they give me one more shot, I'm going to take off on them. And they ain't got to never worry about me again. And I'm sitting here telling you right now, they ain't never worrying about me again. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I started.
Weird. So what year was it when you got released? So you did 10 years. So what year you got locked up? What year you got released and all that?
Right, I got locked up in 2003.
Weird. So you basically been home for like 3 to 4 years, basically.
Four and a half. I was released. I got released in 2013.
Weird.
Right.
So we in 17 now, so that's about 4 years.
Right.
So when you first came home, like, what was the steps you had to go through to become to where you at now? Like, what was the mindset? How did you first start off when you got home? Like, what did you do?
I mean, my first 6 months was the worst. That was what I called the make or break period. I survived that. And I only survived that because I had a plan. I had a vision. I had a goal before I was released. I had that goal. I was holding tight to it. I couldn't go back to the street. I'm not in the streets, man. What the streets gonna give me? Another 5 to 10, another 10 to 20? I mean, I'm just being serious. And you talking to, you know what's so crazy? When I sit and talk to the young adults and the young boys around here, you talking to a guy who did it all. Like, you talking to a guy who ain't got an ounce of fear in his heart. But I ain't going through that no more. Why am I going through it? For what? What I'm gonna go through that for? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted more for myself. So that first 6 months was the hardest. My fella, they don't wanna hire me. Nobody wanna hire me. You know what I'm saying? I ran into Bernard Hopkins. He linked me in with Danny Davis. Danny Davis hired me as his assistant. I worked my way up to the ladder. We became partners. I became who I am outside of anybody else. And this is nothing but hard work, man. Man, sometimes I sit back and think, man, and it don't seem real sometimes. It don't. I'm not gonna lie to you. It don't seem real. All the things that I got going on, and when I sit down and I look at my phone and I access my schedule, HBO, MTV2, you know, that's not regular for a guy like myself. A guy who's just in the cell for 24 hours. You know, jail locked down. Getting a fight, he locked down 23 hours, 1 hour to shower. Like, that's not normal for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how I started.
Word. So now, once you got rolling and all that, you start picking up some noticeable clients, stuff like that, people that people familiar with. So tell them about some of the people that you had worked with and trained and stuff like that.
Oh man, I mean, I'm a very humble guy, and I say that in the humblest way. And I'm successful. I'm a successful trainer. I'm the highest paid trainer in the city of Philadelphia. Now I tell you that. Right? And I only say that because I remember making 19 cents an hour when I was locked up. I don't say that with pride, like, as in a boastful way. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I like to call myself the guy who trained everybody. I train everybody. I train the kid that's dribbling the basketball, that's heading to the local playground, to the top rap artists that grace the stage these days, and the NBA players and the hockey players and the soccer players and the doctors and the lawyers and the plastic surgeons. I really got a client in every job category that's imaginable. And to me, not only is it ridiculous coming from where I come from, it's amazing that I was just sitting in the cell 4.5 years ago. Did nobody know about Maleek Jackson? The guards didn't even call me by my first name. They called me by my last name, Jackson. And if I didn't answer by Jackson, they called me by my state number, FX2190. I'm out here in the city of Philadelphia, the boxing capital of the world, and I'm one of the top trainers in the boxing capital of the world, and these guys respect me. And when I say guys, I don't mean the guys on the corner, the guys that I'm talking about the guys who really run the city of Philadelphia, the politicians, the movers and shakers, the shot callers, the real guys, that if you get in trouble, not to call your homie down the block, your homie from North or Southwest, the guys that makes the laws, them guys, they respect me, they rooting for me. You know why? Because they love me. They love my story. They love the story of the underdog. The guy who come from nothing. Who somehow, without no way possible, he makes a way. He makes a way, and that's me.
Yeah.
Right.
Where so yeah, you trained a whole lot of people in the last couple years. I seen you train like Q from the Fox show. He got his own show on Fox. He was here tonight. Train people like Meek and so on and so forth. So moving forward, you ended up writing a book about your life and your experiences called From Incarceration to Inspiration. Now you told us about a little bit about the story for us, incarceration to the inspiration. So tell us why you wanted to put the book together and what people can get from the book if they was to read it.
I wanted to touch the jails. I wanted to touch the prisons. I wanted to touch the feds. I wanted to touch the juvenile basements. Because they can't see it. You can hop on your phone, you can Google me. If you Google Maleek Jackson, it's everywhere. Them dudes ain't got, they can't do that. They can't, when you locked up, it's restrictions on the computer. They can't do that. I wanted to touch the jails, to show them to show my homies that I can't go back up and see because I'm on state parole. And they won't allow me to go back up there as a visitor, because I was just there as a prisoner. To show them I was just doing this, I was just doing this, I was just doing that, I was just doing that. But before I did all this, I was just walking the cell block with you, stressing. We was crying together, we was splitting soups together. Like I'm saying? I wrote it for them, to reach back to my people. Because they know about the struggle. To give them a chance to look at life in a different, from a different, set of eyes and say yo, damn, Malik was this and here. He out here doing that, he out here doing that. I seen the articles, I got the pictures. It's hope. It's hope. And then after that, to tell the world because my story's so relatable. It's so relatable. It don't matter who you are. You can be the milkman who never had committed a crime a day in his life. You would think a person can relate to me. How a guy who never been to jail, never even thought about committing a crime a day in his life can relate to a guy who is a convicted felon and a career criminal. Because of my success, my story is relatable to everyone because of what I had to overcome. And everyone, in one form or another, had to overcome some type of, adversity and hardship, to fulfill something that they really wanted to do with themselves. And that's what I represent, man. I represent hope.
Where, so for the people tuning in that's interested in checking out the book and stuff like that,
Right.
Plug all the info, like where can they get the book and stuff like that?
Well, you know, this book is the most popular book in Philadelphia right now. And I don't say it just because it's my book. We speaking facts, we speaking facts. This book is the most popular book in Philadelphia right now. And it can be purchased on my website, MaleekJackson.com, or my girlfriend's website, who is also the author, RayleahLewis.com, or you can go on Amazon.com and purchase it.
Word. So before we get out of here, cause we had a long day, you know what I mean? Here you was training a couple of your clients in the celebrity boxing match and stuff like that. So before we get out of here, what's your message to the people tuning in that ain't familiar with you, that ain't familiar with your story, but just watching you and all that, and we ain't get to touch on it yet? So just give them, you know what I mean, whatever you want to say to the people before we get out of here.
Sky's the limit. Biggie voice. And I mean that. There's no limit on what you can become in life. So don't ever let nobody put a limit on what you can become. Only you can do that. And the most important word in any language in the world is the word attitude. And just another way to say your outlook. What's your outlook on life? What's your attitude towards life? And through whatever you're going through, maintain a positive outlook, a positive attitude. Look for the positivity in it, not the negativity. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, you will emerge victorious in whatever situation that you had to face. That's all I got for you.
Word. So plug your info, like your social media and all that. People want to reach out and holler at you and stuff like that. Know what I mean? Let them know where they can find you.
I'm Maleek Jackson all across the board. You on Instagram, MALEEK_Jackson. You on Twitter, Maleek Jackson. You on Facebook, Maleek Jackson. Everything. Shout out to F.A.M.E.
Word.